Well, I guess I better get in here and go live since everybody's already in here chatting it up without me. Um, I actually have my where is it? My branded clothing on. Um, it's I lost my other jacket to the new captain of the boat. Um, sorry I was late. I was I was out there talking to my wife. If I knew I could get rid of all of them, I'd go over there and get every one of these puppies. But I'd have to have them. I'd have to be 90% sure that I could find them all at home. Um, the guy does not give a crap if they're given away or not. Um, he is real old school on puppies. So they either get a home or they don't. So the dog had zero human uh, socialization. She's better now. Um, she has attached herself to the grandson and my wife. I'm my solid number three in the hierarchy. It's annoying, but I have time to move up. Hey, Jolene, you want to say hi? Hmm? I know you played for 2 hours with the boy, but Elijah come over and they ran the house. They destroyed the house. Mom was nice enough to straighten it up before she disappeared with the grandson. But as soon as the boy left, she came over here, and curled up, and has been laying here resting ever since. That is not going to happen. Yeah, no, you can't. I mean, you're either doing dogs or doing other things. I love dogs, but um, the ways to get sued if you're a dog rescue, oh, hell. Talk about the government being up in your business. You got to deal with nothing but Karens all day long, thinking that you're not, that they would be better at it than you, even though they don't even take care of their own nose. Come on. Ooh, why don't you make me work for everything? Oh, blah, 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 blah. This is a look. This is a Louisiana Catahoula leopard dog. In case you never seen one before. Uh, is it that? Oh, by the way, hello, man. Chipper, sits dad, Scottish American stuff. Um, this she's got a. My daughter said pit bull, but some research and stuff. Uh, she's it's not pit bull. She's quarter cur. mountain cur, which is okay with me. I'd have took it if I couldn't have found a Catahoula. I would have took a mountain cur. They're the same dog. The curs are bigger. They do look a lot like a pit bull, or can. You need to put you back down. You don't want to be up here. She doesn't. She's not. She hasn't. She doesn't do the being held. She's not a. Like I say, she's not socialized. She thinks actually she's thinking she's in trouble right now. Oh, come on. Come on. Look. There's your eyeballs. Doobie doobie doobie. Woof woof woof. Are we friends? Are we friends? Are you my friend? Let me put you back in. No, Catahoula, Louisiana Catahoula leopard dog. I tried the blue heeler route twice, and they're really good about feeding themselves chicken dinners. But I know Catahoula or heelers that are great around chickens. Just every time I'd get a heeler, they were already about half grown. And around here, heelers are kind of expensive. So if you get one for nothing, it's probably because there's something wrong with it. So. And I agree with you there, man. But that's not a fur baby. That is, she will be a friend. She will be a guardian dog. She is going to be allowed to kill anything with fur and teeth that tries to harm me, my family, or my livestock. She will not be allowed to be human aggressive in any way, shape, or form. I will not have a dog that is going to tear somebody to shreds for making the mistake of trying to deliver a package or something while I'm at the store, or I don't want an animal that's going to go off on somebody because they misread a signal from me. I just don't do that. Yes, the eyes are similar. Heelers have blue eyes, and actually, if you want to, the American blue heeler was probably bred up the same way. A lot of the American breeds of dogs were bred from these things. These got started up in the late 1700s. And they're actually the result of deliberate breeding of European dogs with dogs that the Choctaw Nation had kept after the Spaniards had been around, and it just blah blah blah. Anyway, long story short, it's probably one of the only true breeds of American dog there is, other than, I guess, probably the American Pit Bull or Bull Terrier, the American Bull Terrier. My bad. Yes, and that's there's no reason to abuse an animal, but if the house is burning down and I can save the baby or I can save the dog is just SOL. If the fireman goes in the house and saves the baby and doesn't run back in and risk their life to save the dog, I'm okay with that. You know, don't know why you'd have your dog chained up or put up in. I that's something else. I can understand why, but me personally, I can't kennel a dog. I can't go to the kennel and lock them up in there and stuff. Ain't no difference with that. Chaining them up in the backyard, boxing them up in the air conditioner, or chaining them in the backyard. What the fuck's the difference? So. Well, some animals are worth more than other animals. I mean, there are animals show up at the sale all the time that the reason they're there is because they showed traits that made them less desirable than other animals in the pasture. If you got a cow that tries to stomp anybody that gets in the pasture, I mean, you can't go in there and feed because she's going to tear, the side mirrors off your truck or try to gore you when you try to open bags on the back of the truck. I mean, yeah, you get rid of that one quick. You got a goat that refuses to acknowledge the power of the fence. You get rid of that goat. You have a rooster that thinks it's okay to knock down small toddlers. You get rid of that rooster. Hey, Grateful Peasant. And we are going to talk about the title of this video because quite honestly, I've had it up to here with all the guys that keep talking about I've been the kind of guy that, hey, man, if you want to live in the city, go ahead. That's your business. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't mind stating that we left the populated areas a long time ago, but we just didn't enjoy it. The benefits did not outweigh the discomfort. I admit when we first moved out, we stayed close enough to where we could, if we needed to, we could go back. Most of the time we were living out of the population centers. We were within a 30-minute drive of major population area. And now we're 10 minutes one way, 18 minutes the other way to town, or 20 minutes, 25 minutes to a slightly larger town. I am now 25 minutes from Harbor Freight. They just opened that store like last week. something like that, last month. Something. Anyway. But I don't mind calling him out by name either. Steve, not this Steve, but another Steve. Said that all of us small town people and rural people that think we're going to be able to defend ourselves or handle our own or whatever are sadly mistaken, because we don't have the emergency services or law enforcement to back us up. We don't need them. We don't need them. That's in the hell, dude. I mean, well, yeah, all you country boys, y'all probably got a deer rifle, and yeah, y'all can, knock the eye out of a squirrel at 100 yards if you've got plenty of time to aim. Who you talking about? I've got none of your business how many, but I could put a squad together. And nobody has to bring a gun. I appreciate if you bring your own ammo. I mean, I got some. I don't want to supply your ammo. If you want to go kill communists, bring your own bullets. I mean, I don't, and I can point to within between here and any one of the towns around me, I can only point to one house that can't do the same thing. Dude, no. They're politically opposed. I started to say I could do two. They're politically opposed to my way of thinking, but they can arm a small fighting force. Just they would be on the other side of the fence. So yeah, one out of 200 houses out here that couldn't hold their own. So yeah, you're talking out of your butt, man. You don't. I don't. Maybe it's different where you're from, but that's not the way it is in small town, my part of the world. Well, there's that Wayne in the. I mean, we say he's like, you need the first responders and the police and the this and that to do this. No, you don't. Yeah, and we do. I need to train more. I do not get enough range time, mostly because my dog sucks and she won't let me. I've started just going ahead and shooting anyway. It does force me to be more accurate with my shooting. I don't just haul off and start pulling the trigger and hoping like hell I hit the targets. But Sadie enjoys gunfire. My dog is drawn to gunfire like it was candy. Can't believe she's never been shot. But we could all use more range time. We could all use more training. I haven't seen anybody on YouTube saying, I'm going to have to back off the training. I'm getting too good at this. I think even in the military, they keep the guys training up because, yeah, once you learn to ride a bicycle, you can ride a bicycle. But if you don't ride a bicycle for 2 or 3 years and you jump on it and you try to run a race, you're not going to do okay. You're not, just because you can stay up on it doesn't mean it's still an extension of your body. I would not try to ride the way I used to ride. I mean, I could ride a bicycle better than I could walk. I stood less of a chance of falling off a bicycle than I did walking. But I haven't ridden a bicycle like that in 20 years. So I wouldn't try it. My bicycle is leaning up against a tree. It has branches growing through it. I did ride it about 10 years ago, though. Ran out of gas. So I walked back to the house, got some gas, and rode my bicycle back to my truck. My dog is snoring. Yeah, but like me, I mean, and I know there's other people out there that are guilty of this too. They're not going to admit it. Going out and spending an hour every 3 or 4 months is, probably adequate for your average Joe. But most of it, I mean, right now it'd be the wrong time to do this, but it's, because I've actually had a little bit of range time in the last few months, more than normal. I'm not running drills and stuff like that. I'm not practicing for urban warfare and stuff like that. My plan in a situation like that is to keep my head down and move away from the gunfire at a cautious rate. And, if it's an assault intended to do me bodily harm, then, well, we'll just see how it turns out. But I am not a minute man. I'm not fixing to strap on my body armor and run into the fray. It would just cause somebody to have to drag my wounded or dead butt off the field of battle. So, yeah. I'll just sneak away from the front lines and try to find me a position, a logistical support position. I'll load magazines in the warehouse or whatever. I mean, I'll heat up the tomato soup and make the grilled cheese sandwiches, whatever. I'll figure something I don't have any fantasies of being John Rambo anymore. Hey, Corsairs. Hey, Bob. The but yeah, this whole, and he's right. There's a lot of people that bust on the people that live in cities, and yeah, it's a trade off. You have to decide. Oh, do I want what the cities have to offer? Which, quite honestly, just about anything you want to do in a large town can be done in a small town. I don't have to find a Starbucks to find good coffee. Uh, there's actually two really good coffee shops within just a few minutes of my house, and neither one of them are Starbucks. I actually prefer 316 to Starbucks. Um, I can't remember the name of the other one. It's on. Um, the the coffee at Mary's, that stuff will put hair on your chest or burn it off. Oh, that's just mean, Carol. But and I think the Steve did the video basically because of the threat that the FBI is, proposedly saying about, you know, rule America could be da 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 da. Yeah, sure. They're probably gonna get a few of us. They're probably gonna mess some stuff up, but they're not leaving. We all have each other's phone number. We all know whose pastor's who. We all know whose truck is who. Um, hell, most of us knows whose dog is whose. Except for that big black one. Ain't nobody figured out. Ain't nobody claiming that one. We don't know where he's from. Not 100% sure it's a dog anymore. Jury's still out on whether or not, in my opinion, whether or not we have had a wolf come up from Mexico. It's not that far. They could trot it in 3 days. So, if it's getting that crowded down there, there'd be a reason why they'd scoot out, and they'd keep coming north. They wouldn't stay down there where there wasn't water. He looks. I don't know if anybody's been on my channel for long or whatever. That dog I rescued, called him Lycan. Yeah, I found him at home. Looks like him, but big, full grown. He looks wolfish, but um, he could be a coy dog too, though, because I keep hearing one bark. I mean, coyotes will bark, but when you got a coy dog in them, the bark is different. I don't know how to explain it. If he is a coy dog, though, I would like to know. He doesn't have a collar on, but man, I don't want to. He's never been. I've never seen him close to my house. I don't want to shoot somebody's dog that's just out chasing rabbits, because that's a legal activity. All I have to do to make it to the range is walk out my front door. And my neighbor has a 300-yard range set up. And I've got permission to use it. So I guess in city terms, I would have to drive 3 blocks. He said if I want to shoot, I can go shoot. And if he's home or gone, it doesn't matter. Just let him know. He said he'd actually really like it if I wanted to shoot and I came over when he was there, then he could drag his guns out again. He put 2,000 rounds downrange a couple of weekends ago. 2,000. I'm like, how can you afford to throw 2,000 rounds downrange? He shot every gun he owned. Why he just shot all weekend, man. And one of the daggum guns he's got sounds like a howitzer going off. You can hear it 2 miles away. Hear it, not go, oh, was that a gunshot? You're like, oh, that's a gun. And he says it's just a 308, but it's the way it's made. He says it's really loud. I forget how many 308s. He's got several 308s and a couple of AR stuff. He's got some pew-pews. All of his rifles are sighted at 200. Kentucky's anything under or over. So his strategic elevated concealment booth is 200 yards from the approved target area. And so he gives him plenty of time to see what's coming and going and stuff, and allows him to make a decision on whether or not he wants to. So, yeah, if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, then you don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to explain it to you. That's the one. Yeah. I'm not hitting no quarters or 50-cent pieces or silver dollars or paper dollars with the stuff coming out of my handguns. I ain't gonna lie. People talk trash all day long, all you want to. If 10 yards or 15 yards, you can get everything in a dinner plate, just pat yourself on the back. I'm gonna kill the camera for a minute, and we're gonna go out in the smoking section. So y'all bear with me. Um, we were up all night. We didn't get much sleep. I took a nap. My missus didn't. Can I have one of those? Can I have either one of those jackets? Either one of them will be fine. I'm taking the big one. Give me my coat. Oh, this leaves all nice and warm. You sure, Trudy. You are. Okay. Relocating. Everybody hold one. Haven't abandoned you. I'll try not to make too much noise, bud. Shady. You two are just about the goofiest dogs I've ever met in my life. It is not working for me. Okay. We're back. Sadie, scoot over. You're in my spot. Y'all know what Sadie looks like. She's a Wright's Catahoula. Yeah. Which is the same as a rig. She's just a little smaller. That one's supposed to be a Fairbanks. No, she's a Fairbanks. That one's supposed to be a Wright's. There's a big one and a small one. She's a small one. That one's supposed to be she's supposed to be about 3 inches taller at the shoulder than Sadie. Sadie's actually on the big side for what she is. That little dog in there is actually, I'm pretty sure, because I know every Catahoula, well, not every, but I know almost every Catahoula for 4 counties. And I know Sadie's mom. I almost adopted Sadie's mom. But Frankie was still with me. And 2 alpha females in the same house, 2 intact alpha females in the same house, probably not the best thing. They would have eventually got along. Catahoulas can live in large groups of dogs. They They can be used as a fence. Back in the day, that's what they were. They were before they invented electric fence. You just had Catahoulas. And they would literally just stay on the outside. They wouldn't, like the guardian dogs today, they'll get in and mingle with the animals. They don't want to be the animals' friends. They just circle the herds, and the herd would stay together. And then as the human would move, the dogs would move herd with them. They're not herders, but they're like basically a fence. It's weird. Or you can raise them to kill coyotes. You can raise them to chase hogs. Sadie was getting her butt stomped by the bobcats around here, so I've been trying to get her some backup. Hazel disappeared, so I don't know, but I think the young dudes that were stringing fence, and by young I mean these kids were on Christmas holidays, and they were helping Grandpa string fence. They probably made a ton of money, honestly. But child labor laws don't apply to farming, so these kids were ranging anywhere from 11 to, I think the guys actually doing the driving were probably up there right around 14. But they were getting it done. So they, in the 2 weeks they were here, they probably strung wire around 3,000 or 4,000 acres. Because they were stringing fence all over this county. But anyway, they were here for about a week, and then when they left, my dog wasn't here anymore. So, and that's okay, because I was having to stay on top of him all the time. I love that dog to pieces, but he really thought chickens were fun. Is she not your replacement? She's your backup. Wait. She 103. What did I miss? Now I'm upset with that I didn't go to that. If I've missed something cool. I was actually enjoying Zach's live stream, and then I was like, hey, wait, shit. I got my own scheduled. I gotta go over there. So I was just lurking over there, really. Lay down. So I'll feed you in a little bit. I was at one, but it was cold, and we just shot Zach's Fancy Dan little rifle he made with the trigger and stuff. I remember that because I was tried to be cute, and I tried to hit the gong with my uh, Security 6 at 100 yards and hit it. Don't tell everybody on the internet, though, that I missed that. Oh, I was scaring the snot out of it. I just wasn't getting it. I want to have one of those. Well, that because my property's inside the city limits. barely. Um, but I would love to have something like that at the Paco barn. I might get with my neighbor and see if I can do a thing here, and um, I'll pin Knothead up. He can stay pinned up for a few days, and find places for everybody to pitch a tent or hang a hammock or whatever. I'm not set up like Sasquatch is. I can't. That's not true. I could probably put up enough cots. I could come up with places for people to sleep, I suppose. But I'd really like to have one of those here. We're hoping to get to go south in April for a few days. Um, if me and Rob can ever get together on it, we're planning on doing another thing at the thing down on the river here. Um, but anyway, back to this small town USA being a death trap. I got sidetracked on that. I was reading it there doing chat again. I honestly don't think so. Um, could they do some serious damage out here? And would I, if were I them, would I make the false assumption that it would be easy and painless to do so? Yeah. Now we got a lot of airheads, man, in the that still live in the small towns here. That's we kind of keep all the people that we keep all the sheep pen up in town because we need somebody to run the 7-Elevens and stuff. Um, at my grocery store, people at the grocery store I go to, you can buy worms, ammo, holsters, fishing rods, uh, tents, camping propane, uh, beer. You can just buy everything. You don't need nothing else. I mean, the fishing gear is really expensive, but it's there. Um, They get price. I like their meat though. That's where I buy my meat. I don't buy my meat at the other place. I don't like the other place. I go to buy the meat at this place. It would just be. It would literally, and then when I let's say let's say they hit Sea City, it would take 10 minutes, 10 maybe 15 minutes before word got to uh, that town. Just well, you got Black Oklahoma, Dunn, Schneider, Sweetwater, uh, Maryneal. It's 30 minutes up the road, Wes. You go there all the time. There's a lake. Anyway, and yeah, those people they could not get ahead of the cell phones. They they wouldn't get out, and uh, we sure wouldn't be calling for an old SWAT team out of Abilene or San Angelo or nothing like that. We wouldn't be calling asking for the National Guard. We'd be calling what's that 1-800 number for digging? That's all. And we got a few pre-dug holes. From the truth. Well, yeah, there's two of them right up the road. Two of them up here, one over here. A couple over yonder way. Uh, I mean, you get by with just a loader. You don't have to. You don't need the backhoe. You just need, you know, basically just cover the hole up. Honestly. Yeah. The this. But anyway. And I like Steve from uh, Integrated Preparedness. He's got some good things to say, but he's not as smart as he thinks he is. And I've reread his books, and I'm sorry, but that's not the way. I mean, yeah, if you can deal with the fact that you're stealing the resources that probably could have kept somebody alive and storing them in your barn and stuff, yeah, but uh, gosh. Glad they're not hurt. How about the other driver? Was it a no fault and at fault? Which I don't know about that. Yeah, there are no fault accidents. If it's raining or uh, equipment failure, stuff like that. That's cool. I was kind of hoping Guns Coast to Coast would pop in. Um, I understand where he's coming from, but I really don't like that. There's too many people dying in prisons around here right now. And none of the ones dying are like um, professional criminals, they're not the ones dying in there. So, career, not professional career. It's impossible to be a professional criminal. You can be a career criminal, but you can't be a professional criminal. I think had a guy go a few months back up here, and he was a child support and DUIs. That's why he was in jail. So yeah, he deserved it. Anyway, I don't think. Um, I think there is a danger because there's stuff out. I mean, there's things out here that they could hit that they could seriously impact the population centers with. Um, oh man, I can see two things from my house that would cause all kinds of trouble up the line if they hit them. Um, there's, I know of just off the top of my head, I can think of 10 or 15 other things within an hour or hour and a half that, you know, they could cause all kinds of trouble for the major population centers. And they're really soft targets. They would be really easy to hit. Now we're talking about how we're all going to die and not be able to defend ourselves if the stuff that sheriff was talking about happens. How we're all just doomed to curl up in a ball and die a horrible death because we're not trained law enforcement officers, and our hospitals all suck, and our EMT people are basically just a bunch of morons and stuff. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Um, the EMTs, a couple of EMTs on there, military vets. Several of the nurses I know around here were medics. One of our nurse practitioners is a Marine, or Army, can't remember. Anyway, and another thing he said that, and if anybody wants to text integrated preparedness and tell him I'm talking shit about him so he can come in here and defend himself, that's fine too. Actually, I would welcome it. Rural small town USA has been dying for years, not because there were no opportunities in small town USA. Small town USA is dying because the opportunities in small town USA were taken away. The biggest mistake made by the conservative peoples of the United States of America was allowing the interstate highway system to be put in place. The end. Why do we need to move our military from one side of the country to the other side? Why don't we just have tanks everywhere already? Why don't we just have, enough military in each state and each area to do their own? And if it takes a couple of days for the other guys to get there, oh well. That's the biggest load of shits I've ever heard in my life. You can't say that you're trying to make it safer by closing all the bases and just making it where you can move the people where you need to move it when you need to move. Lorain was a vibrant community until the interstate come on. Roscoe, vibrant community. Theaters, movie theaters, restaurants, mechanic shops, car dealerships, everything, all of it. You could actually, there were so many dealerships, car dealerships back 30 years ago that you could get a good deal on a car. Because, if the guy in your hometown wouldn't make a deal with you, you drove 45 minutes and he knew it. So you didn't have to drive the 45 minutes. If you got ticked off at him and, he wasn't going to throw in the spare tire, then, he wasn't going to take the Goodyears off and put Michelin's on, whatever it is that the other guy was willing to do, you went over there anyway. But you can't do that anymore. They put a big hurt on Snyder with the 84 bypass, but it was a bypass and they still had exits everywhere. So people were still getting off the highway. Monday, you still had to go through Monday to get to Oklahoma. You still had to go through Seymour to get to Oklahoma. You no longer have to go through Seymour or Monday to get to Oklahoma. And it took 6 years. 6 years to kill Monday and Seymour. That was it. 6 years after they got that bypass put in around the two towns. That's it. The towns are dead. The theaters aren't open anymore. The restaurants are closing. Got two owls out there talking nasty to each other. There's going to be a bunch of baby owls around here. for gambling. There's a lot of really pretty stuff in eastern Oklahoma, honestly. Like ticks and beaver bears. And stuff. Would you go get a lozenge? There's one owl out there that, oh, there's something wrong with his voice box. I don't know what's wrong with it. Sadie, you snore a lot. Did you know that? I'm going to try to, if my fat ass dog would move, I would pull my chair up a little closer. I don't think that's an owl. No, I'll hold one. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's a big old horned owl. She's right above the barn. Come on, Sadie. I'm closing the door. You coming in? It's a great horned owl. She's right there. Sadie, if you want in, I'll let you in, but don't you stand there with that door open now that your deaf butt can hear the owl trying to figure out what it is. I might want a dog. I got one that's just about as thick in the head as she is fat. She got cancer though. Nothing doc can do about it. Except Lorraine, where they put the bypass in Lorraine, there was no. They built it through a floodplain, so there was no building. There was no building out on the interstate. That it was, I mean, it was the death of the town. Westbrook, same thing. Um, they tried to do some stuff, but I mean, Kahoma actually made out okay. Kahoma was close enough to uh, another thing, and they had industry. Um, Sweetwater almost died, but Sweetwater had a little bit of industry. Sweetwater, I think, would have crumbled had it not been for the gypsum. Um, and there's actually a building craze going on right now. There's a lot of construction happening in the bigger cities. So Sweetwater's making out like crazy right now. They're um, both of their gypsum plants are running full tilt, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I was a younger person, I would go ahead and go sign up because I mean they're paying like $26 an hour for watching a machine do the job. You know, I think they got forklift operators and equipment operators and stuff. There's not actually there's not. I mean, it's work, but it's not. It ain't nothing like it was, 15, 20, 30 years ago. My wife worked for minimum wage most of her life. I worked for minimum wage a lot when I was younger. Um, but when I decided that I'd be better off in a trade, so I quit doing that kind of stuff and actually found something that paid good. Every time I would get to a point in my trade where I was making a decent living, somebody would come along and raise the minimum wage. Um, and minimum wage was like $5.35 an hour for forever. And I got up to where I was making like I think when it was 5.35, I think I managed to get up to 12.50 bucks an hour. As a tradesman in a big city, which the competition for tradesmen was really high, so the wages weren't that great. When I figured out I could actually make more money by the hour in smaller towns, guess what I did? I moved to a smaller town. Anyway, um, then boom, they raised the minimum wage and uh, by $2 an hour. Okay, yeah, that brings them up $2 an hour, but because of what it does to the purchasing power of the dollar, it brought me down over $2 an hour, and yeah, it just sucked. So I worked and got myself up there around $18 an hour. And then they started all this other stuff. And next thing you know, guys slinging hamburgers and stuff were making nearly as much as I was. And, um, you know, I started, just went into work for, went to work for myself. And, if you couldn't pay me $45 an hour, you didn't even, need. I'd rather set it. I'd rather sit at the house than work for $20 an hour. You kiss my ass. I'm not doing it. Took me forever to learn how to do what I know how to do, and at the level with which I knew how to do it. Yeah, I could teach somebody to do 80% of it in 6 months, but that was 80% of it. The rest of that stuff was going to take years to learn. And I was never willing to teach anybody how to do my job. Not after a couple of times teaching, my helper how to do my job, to have the boss man say, well, man, we're having to pay you too much. We're going to have to, you either have to take a cut or we're going to have to let you go. Fine. That's when I learned I was better off having my own tools. The last bunch that did that, they forgot that, every specialty tool in there that made the shop work the way the shop worked was mine. And I walked out with it, and they had to go out and spend $20,000-$30,000 right away. It takes a while to store tools. Don't hand me that stuff anymore. That's a long story. Tell me which one. I can put your house on paper. I can take it from paper to a shopping list, from a shopping list to a foundation to a finished home. That's why I should get $45 an hour. I can tell you whether or not your subcontractors are ripping you off or not. I can tell you that if an electrician doesn't know how to use a broom, he doesn't come back. I can tell you if a drywall guy doesn't know where the wall outlets are and can't make a cut in the wall, he's not going to come back. I can tell you if the framer doesn't give a shit if the wall's square or not, he's not getting paid, and he's not coming back. That's why I'm worth a hell of a lot more than $45 an hour. I can even build cabinets if I want to. I can tell you how the duct has to be made, the best way to make the duct. I can make the duct. I can tell you why you don't put a slab foundation in 90% of the country. Why would you want your house attached to the one thing that is constantly moving, when you can build your house to float over the top of that and stay in the same place? But yeah, there's a reason you do dirt work a certain way if you're going to pour a slab. Why would you pour your slab on top of a rock just so the rock can move? Thank you. Dior's gave me it's come in handy since my new dog has taken over my maps hoodie. So my wife told me not to let her have the jacket, but I don't let her have it. I take it off, I put it down where it goes, and the dog lays on it. I guess if I went and made, I guess I could take my $45 an hour ass and make a coat rack. Um, yeah, I can build you a sofa. I can build you a sofa. I can build you a sofa. I can build furniture. Well, let me rephrase all that. I could. Yeah, you want to know the and man, I get that he's just a nice guy trying to make a go of it, and he's proud of what he's accomplished and stuff. But that is his books are survivor. They are prepper porn. Uh, God watched out for me and mine, and we became the rulers of our own little country. Um, Southern slave nation much, but I'm it's in a perfect world. I can see it, but the he painted too borderline a picture for the other side. There's um, flannel shirt dude would have left. Flannel shirt dude would have found a bunch of other guys. Flannel shirt dude would have built his own little posse, and flannel shirt dude would have jumped their butts whenever they were making their forays, and Stone Mount would have collapsed. Sorry. Um, in his world, you're either a good person or you're not. Um, there's a woman that does uh, prepper porn books or whatever, and I liked hers better. Can't think of her name, man. Um, and one of them, though, the sheriff actually goes and takes and loads up a bus and takes a bunch of them out of the prison. But these people were all. Um, he went through the paperwork and took the career guys, and the other ones they relocated and basically put them on lifelong paroles. That was actually pretty cool. uh, you can watch camper porn or bushcraft porn. All you gotta do is, I mean, they don't call it that, but you can go watch all the girls doing all the things in their bathing suits or their uh, you know, bras cost too much. They weigh too much. So uh, let's wear a white t-shirt and go to the river and go noodling with perfect air. You can watch all that stuff. Go up to. I'm not interested really. Yeah, bushcraft. I didn't mean that, but that's funny, man. You're good at this game. Uh, them bathing suits and stuff they're wearing, though, I'm pretty sure it's not much of a bush. It's going to be a well manicured bonsai tree, if anything. I watched the first. This is the first and probably only one of those I watched. Was early. It was 6, 8 years ago. It popped up. Woman survives or alone for 48 hours or something like that. Wow. Click. Okay. I mean, and she had on yoga pants and a wife beater. The wife beater was too small, but that's okay. She didn't have uh, much to cover up there anyway. But I was like, "You're going to die." She was in the desert, and she found a nice place to build her shelter. She built her shelter in a draw, in a wash, and she was building a shelter because it looked like it was going to rain. I'm like, "You're in a desert. You're building your shelter to protect you from the rain in the one place where all the water is going to come through if it rains." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm just not going to watch it for that." Hey, man, why do beavers build dams? Has something to do with the moon and stopping the flow. Okay, Steve, I'm guessing I know who one of their subscribers are. Like the lady that used to pop up on my suggested all the time when I first started hanging out on YouTube way too much. She was a gardener. She did all her gardening. She's a redhead, and that apron was way too small. Um, I confess, I watched a couple of those before I realized that I didn't need to be watching that stuff. She wasn't ever gardening anyway. She was just like petting the rose bushes or the azaleas or whatever she was messing with. Who saw my new reel on Instagram today? The one I just put up today. It the reason it's got that puppy at the end of it is because that kid, that's my grandson. He got the dog for me. He's the one that went and picked it out. Sorry, guys. I asked a question a while back and I'm just gonna respond. Apparently I had a response for a minute, but I didn't hear it. Mm. Damn it, ungrateful. Um. Anyways, yeah, I don't doubt that they're going to hit Small Town USA because we do appear to be easier, and it'd be easy for them to do the damage. It's just not going to be that easy for them to get away with it. Uh, yeah, well, we feel it more. You can lose 10 people in Kansas City, and it's going to suck. But losing 10 people in a town of 1,500, that's per capita, that's 100 times worse. So, yeah, would it hurt us more? Um, are we going to recover from it faster? Yeah. Or we going to have to spend a whole lot of time in the courts? To get to the end of it? Probably not so much. Will there be a lot of guys out there with nothing but a deer rifle, taking plenty of time to aim? Yeah. They're going to show up to the fight with four bullets and or 4 bullets in their gun and a box in their pocket. They're going to leave the fight with a successful outcome and still have three bullets in their gun. That's the suburbs. God, that's for mayhem. That's the easy. That would be literally the most effective, heinous thing they could do because there's more people back together. It's easy to get in and out, and uh, most of those people are pretty much unarmed. So yeah, the end. Rob did not get the notification about the live stream, in case y'all are wondering. Um, I'm not saying there's not suburban people that are trained. I'm just saying that it's not 9 out of 10 or 99 out of 100 like it is. If I could record a Saturday, the sound effects of a Saturday in this county, uh, It would surprise people. Sounds like Detroit. There is always gunfire coming from somewhere. Uh, Last weekend, I'm pretty sure that guy had a fully automatic weapon. Either that or a really fancy trigger. There's a guy that trains urbanites that uses a piece of property about 3 miles from here. He has people coming in from Abilene, San Angelo, Lubbock, and they spend the day throwing lead down range. And they do all kinds of training. It's people don't fully understand just exactly how involved in all this mess rural America is. And I mean, we don't run around and I mean, there are people who go from barrel to barrel and plywood to plywood and shoot at targets. I would really like to set me up a thing where I could do some of that. I actually made me a big pile of dirt, and then we got a bull, so I don't really get to do that like I was planning. Um, that's we haven't been going to church lately, but where we attend church when we go, um, there's nobody up there that doesn't have a firearm. Well, I don't think the song leader does, but um, the guy handing out the pamphlets does. The guy that hangs out at the back door coming into the day or the Sunday school does, and well, the rest of us do. Yeah, my bull. But I mean, hey, if you want to come down, I'll set up the targets. I'll tell you what, Steve, you come down, I'll set up the camera from a safe distance, of course. I will let you put your gear on. Now, the rule is you cannot shoot the bull. Um, he becomes worth his weight in gold if he dies. And you have to supply several credit cards before you're allowed to start the exercise. Anyway, and you have to supply your own insurance, and there is no liability on the part of the range. But if you want to do that, I will be more than willing to let you in there with that crazy little bastard. He is the biggest sweetheart. He just wants to play. He's not trying to kill you. He's really bored. She's a sweetheart. That uses an entire pine tree. Thing's 18 inches across at the base. He throws it around with his horns. He's solid. And he's a little cow. He's a little cow. Yeah. If you get him to roll over and let you pet his belly, I would not. I would gift you the bull though, because he's obviously yours. Me and Nodette, we're buddies. Just I know that he would knock me down and hurt me. And then my son goes out there and they chase each other around the pasture. And that's going to bite Leland in the ass one of these days. But it's his life. Oh, now you're making excuses. Just move out of the suburbs, you get a bigger backyard. Then you could have your own. You could have your own livestock obstacle course. You weren't. I don't know if you were in here when I was talking about me trying to do my training, my range time. I have to be able to focus, reload my sidearm, and get my shots on target, all while missing my dog. I have to shoot around a 60-pound torpedo brain, because she thinks that gunfire is a game. She actually is drawn to gunfire like a moth to flame. It's a trait. Catahoula's just like guns. They really, really do. I've never known a Catahoula that was afraid of gunfire. And if I start shooting at something, she's going to go shred it. Even if I miss, she is going to run it to the ground if she can. She cannot run down a coyote by herself. She can run down a bobcat by herself. The only problem is the bobcats usually whoop her butt. Big time. But zero human aggression. She doesn't have a hackle to put up for a human. She just doesn't. I love that about her. The fact that she absolutely, she would literally unlock the door for the burglar. She's not going to do nothing. And that's exactly the way it should be. I've had dogs that I really cared for that. I take that back. She has low growled at one person, but I didn't like him either. But that's all. She just wouldn't get close to him. She didn't threaten to bite him or anything. She just low growled and kept her distance. And I told him not to come back to my house. Ever. So. Rob said hi. He is at somebody else's house, so he can't come into the live stream with us. I got 14 people in here, and there's only a couple people talking. Wonder who's there's serious lurkers out there. Wonder how bad I'll get slammed on Patreon now. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I've got autographed books from Steve, and I mean, they're good books. They really are, as far as entertaining and well written, but just um, it's the reason I prep, so I don't have to go out and scavenge everything that's going to keep the things that would allow the 1 out of 10 people not to starve to death if there was an EMP. Just your normal Joe citizen that isn't prepared. I'm not going to back up to Walmart and empty the store out and bring it and stack it all in my barn. I'm not that guy. If I could get in Walmart and get me some more stuff, I would do that. But I'm not going to empty it out and then make people swear allegiance to the empire of S, or depart from me, thine workers of non-preparedness, and perish. I'm not that guy. Later, Wayne. Thanks for shipping armaments to us, I guess. There's that, Chipper, I suppose. I am in the market for a old school diesel truck that doesn't have a computer. Even though I know for a fact that you can take an old school John Deere and drag a 37-foot trailer house with it. So if you can drag that much weight with a John Deere, I'm pretty sure you could just use an old school John Deere to go to Walmart and get a lot of stuff. Is it salt cured or honey smoked or honey cured? C103. I've never been able to pull off the honey cure. So, man, good luck. My brother did all that ham radio stuff, and I don't know. I guess it'd be cool. I don't get into that kind of stuff. I don't know why. I wish I did, because communications are really going to be improved. Kelly is known for cheating. Touche. And it like their senator or whatever doesn't have to obey the rules on the lockdowns everybody else does. She can still go get her hair done. And he recycles his comment. No, none of us. Let me. Okay. As far as where Steve was going with his video, I will agree with the concept that none of us, and as many of y'all have stated in the comments here tonight, none of us are ready, nor can we be ready for what is coming to a theater of engagement near you. I have never, ever professed that the only way to survive the collapse of modern civilization is to move out into the middle of nowhere and grow your own food. Because I don't believe that. The way I chose to better my chances and the chances of my family to survive the collapse of the world as we know it was to move into a rural area and try to become as self-sufficient as possible. It's not a hobby. It's a lifestyle. And we do not ignore the real world. You know, we are, my wife is still working towards her retirement. We are trying to acquire wealth. Granted, it's in the form of real estate. We are actively involved in the education of our grandchildren, or we're trying to be. We understand the importance of modern medicine. We communicate with people that do not have the same mindset that we do. We try to communicate with people that have the same mindset that we do also. Isolationism is bad mostly because it is impossible. You put him in his place, Mark. Just go in there and ace it. He probably got a 70 or something. Anyway, we need to They need to quit the infighting amongst the preppers. What we need to do. I don't care if you're an atheist. That's your business. I don't, man. That's on you. I don't care if you're a Catholic. Again, that's on you. I don't care if you're a Baptist. That's on you. I don't care if you're Church of Christ. That's on you. I don't care if you're Jewish. That's on you. I don't care what your belief system is. That's on you. I don't care if you're an isolationist. That's on you. I do care if you're a communist. Uh, Stay out of my country. And you cannot be a Democrat. You cannot believe in democracy and not be a communist. Shut up. They're the same damn thing. The end. Union guys, listen to me. If your union leaders are telling you to vote for the Democratic Party, they're telling you to vote communist. They're telling you to vote for the limiting of your God-given, not government-given, God-given constitutional rights. Are you free? Are you a free American citizen? Are you your own person? Or are you the property of the Labor Party? Standing together, we're strong. That's communism. At least own it for what it is. It's America. You can be a communist if you want to. Just own it. Own it for what it is. Any thoughts on that other than y'all are fighting over who's going to pass the test and who's not? Mark, I wouldn't sweat it if a Marine can pass it on the first try. You ought to be able to. Damn, you're a truck driver. You can actually do two things at one time. Well, I guess uh, never mind. I'm not going there. Yeah, I go let the puppy out. Um, get ready for a night of interrupted sleep. I don't know. How many in here can remember having a brand new puppy in the house? And like I say, this puppy, we're having to socialize him to humans. He hasn't been around people. She hasn't been around people. This is all new to her. I admit that I failed my refrigeration test the first time. That was embarrassing. I got my dates screwed up. I knew the right numbers, but when I was reading it, I read the wrong numbers. And I didn't, as my bad, I should have read the question twice and I would have got the numbers right. Not yet. Um, I've had to move my hoses for all my different stuff, and we're having to keep the power cords up off the ground for right now. I did make him some, or make her some stuff out of some paracord. I'm hoping it's entertaining enough. We shall see. Right now, I've got to go in and feed her, take her to the bathroom. All right, Steve. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get out of here too. That's the 2 hour mark. I try to limit my interaction with you people. I'm afraid y'all are damaging my psyche too much. Y'all are affecting me in negative ways and stuff. Um, yeah, his soap operas are probably fixing to come on. Mark, he's got to get out of here because we'll find out what's happening with the Joneses or whatever. Anyway, thanks for coming by, Steve. Appreciate the input, such as it was. Um, I, we all appreciate your support of your fellow YouTuber in his endeavor to become a better member of the community and stuff. And trying to be positive and uplifting. Is it working? Am I coming across as sincere? I was wanting to know. Oh, actually had a bunch of people drop out. There's like, I guess I had a couple of people in there that were doubling up on their watch time with an extra whatever. Or did I not say hi to somebody? I hate that when I don't see somebody pop in and I don't acknowledge them enough. Like Bob's talking about Seattle up here, but y'all had me off running something else. I must have missed something on the Seattle business. I know my sister left that part of the world. She was like, "You're doing too crazy up there." So, California ain't the only state that has people exiting. I really hope that, and this is completely different, but I, for one, am in full support of the eastern sides of both Washington State and Oregon separating from well, I don't know, Washington State maybe not so bad, but Oregon, I strongly support their desire to leave the state and join with Idaho. Um, and I think it should be. I think that Western and upstate New York should be able to separate from New York City if they want to. I believe that I think it's time for a change. I think they're going to have to rework the electoral system because right now it's turning out to work like a democracy instead of an electoral system. The electoral system worked until I don't know They got all the interstates put in. Have I harped on the interstates yet? Again, um, they forced all of these support people out of these areas, which made life here worthwhile. Used to, some of the smaller farmers would work illegal immigrants because whatever. But most of the big guys wouldn't. They worked their kids or their family or something. Um, I worked all of my young adult life as a farm hand, and I hardly ever saw wetbacks on the farms. But then there were no young people. There were no young American citizens left to do the farm work, so they had to do something. Hey, Palmetto. It's Yeah, there was a lot that came over into the valley and did all the picking and stuff down there, but they were migrants. They came through. They were seasonal workers. They came through. They did the stuff. They went home. Um, what do you call it? Hollywood started portraying them as something other than what they were, and yeah, but yeah, and they all, either them or their mom or dads, were illegals. Uh, the young guy that's coming up around here doing what I was doing for the 45 bucks an hour is he he was born here, he was raised here, but uh, his he was the anchor baby. So um, and he does not have a problem working people like his dad, you know, that are his age, not his dad's age. Um, that was my deal. I couldn't find any help, and I refused to work illegals. It's not that they're not people, not that they don't deserve a job, but it was, working them is doing damage to my country. And I would rather suffer than attack my own home. I would rather do without than burn down my own home. And people don't see it that way. I do. And if one or three or 10 of them all got into trouble, they could literally be on a bus at a border town and walk across the border because they don't check their ID going back the other way. You just literally go to the border and you walk through. They're not going to arrest you for leaving the country if you're here illegally. They're not going to detain you for leaving the country. Um, point in the guys in New York that got in trouble, they were not headed for Arizona. They were going back out the same. Their plan was to go back out the same tunnel they came through. They got stopped. But anyway, it's not just the criminals element that's coming over here that is killing our country. It's the good, hardworking young men that just want to make a better life for themselves and us, because we're not. I taught my kids to work. Who in here is teaching their kids to work? You want a what? You want an Xbox? That's this number of dollars. I need to see this number of dollars worth of something out of you. I don't care if your friend has one. Their dad just bought it for them. No, that's not the way this works. Or is there some animosity when you do that to your kids and their friends don't have to go through it? Yeah, but you're doing your kid a favor. The people that are just giving their kids stuff are doing their child a disservice. Well, I didn't get it when I was a kid. Well, yeah, it's because your dad loved you too much. I mean, chances are your mom or dad could have bought a whole lot more than they said they could, but they knew if they just gave you everything, you weren't going to be worth the crap. So, we've got a lot of ain't worth the craps here now, a lot. Um, and it just annoys me. Oh, I loved it when I was younger and I could work by piece labor. Man, piecework was the only way I wanted to work when I was younger. Now, granted, when I was younger, didn't have to worry about you can't make any money roofing now. They're still paying the same for nailing on now as they were when I was doing it. Now, man, I'm not doing that. Um, Roofing kills you. You're you're going to be crippled. The end. Um, but if you can learn how to do it and get good at it, and you can do it for 6 or 8 years and then move on to something better, if you are smart with the money, um, I mean, that's, that's the most money I've ever made in my life when I was roofing. But I never got to stay in the same. You have to chase the storms. You have to go where the work is. Um, but and you can make, and this is back when everybody else was making. You could get a job working construction and they'd pay you $10 an hour, or you could chase hail and you could roof, and they paid you $7 a bundle, 21 bucks a square. I could do a square and a half an hour. So, yeah. But now we're gonna stop talking about that, because that's also about the time I decided that chemical enhancement was the way to live your life. So, and even though it was really cheap and it didn't cost me nearly what it made me economically, it cost me a lot spiritually, emotionally, and in my health. So, I am definitely paying for my years of methamphetamine. Yeah. So, anyways, I am out of here. Thanks for the people that showed up late, tried to refire the conversation. But yeah, small town America is not a death trap, not any more than anywhere else. Will we feel the pain? Yeah. Are we screwed because our police forces aren't huge and our uh, EMT guys aren't, you know, whatever, and our firefighters are volunteers? No, we're not. I mean, some of the volunteer firefighters are annoying. They're full of themselves, but most of them are pretty people. They just they're volunteer firefighters because they actually want to make sure that the area and the community is safe. I like the idea of the volunteer firefighters showing up, and if it turns into a firefight, they can actually do more than fight fires. They don't. They don't have to wait for the police to show up to return fire. Just saying. Uh, anyhow, you people stay alive, don't die. I will see y'all in the next one. Uh, I've got to go tend to my dog, and I got to feed these guys. They haven't been fed yet. So anyway, y'all be good. Stop hating on each other. You don't have to live in any specific place or practice any specific religion. Um, work out your own salvation or not. None of us are the man. None of us sit on the right hand of God. We we are not in possession of the judgment seat. We need to back up. We you want to judge somebody? You know that thing you use for shaving or combing your hair, or brushing your teeth. It's called a mirror. That guy, that motherfucker right there. That's who you need to work it out with, not the guy down the street. He's not between you and God. And trust me, you're not between him and God either. Be the best you can be. And if your light is bright enough, it will shine into his world and he will see it. But remember, that's not your candle burning. That's God's candle. That's the light of God. That's not you. Saved by faith alone, not through works, lest we boast. I love you, people. Y'all stay alive.